Assalamu alaikum. Today I'm going to present concept and illustration of genetic algorithms with the problems solved using programming of genetic algorithms. I'll start the presentation, Yal Khazendar. Then my colleague Walid bin Uwais will continue the presentation. We'll speak today about the background and history of genetic algorithms. We'll speak about the terminology and the basics of genetic algorithms. We'll speak about the features and the pseudocode, and we'll show some examples and applications, and we'll discuss about the advantages and disadvantages, and we'll show the recent research topics on the genetic algorithms. The genetic algorithms was taking the concept from the evolution theory. As we can see, for instance, the concept for a mutation, which meaning offsprings having similarity of their parents but with some variations. And the other concept is the crossover, which taken from the sexual reproduction, whereas the offsprings having combination from both parents and inherited to the children. And these features, the mutation and the crossover, are the main features that are going to be used in the genetic algorithms, and we are going to explain it in detail in this presentation. As we explained in the previous slide, after applying the concept of mutation and the crossover, better generation will be produced to adapt the changes on the environment. And this concept is called the selection, which is going to be used in the genetic algorithms. And also, we are going to discuss it in details in this presentation. Now, the background of the genetic algorithms. It was developed by Professor John Holland in 1970, and the purpose of it is to provide efficient techniques for optimization and machine learning applications. It was inspired by Charles Darwin theory of natural evolution, and there is three principles according to Darwin's: the hereditary, which means that there must be a process for children to receive the properties from their parents. The other principle is the variation, where there must be a variation from the parents to the children. And the last principle is talking about the selection, that some of the population members will have the opportunity to pass down their genetic information, and some of this population will not be able to. Now we'll speak about the terminology. The first one is the population, which is mean it is the subset of all possible solutions to the given problem. The other one is the chromosomes, which is one such solution to a given problem. The gene is one element of chromosome, and the value of this gene is called the allele. Other terms that we need to know is the genotype and the phenotype. The genotype is the basic data structure, bits in binary in the chromosome, as we can see here. This the genotype, and the phenotype, it can be represented in any type like integer, real number, as we can see as we will see in this presentation. The gene is a single encoding of part of the solution space, either single bits or short block of adjacent bits. As we can see here is only one block. The chromosome is a strings of genes that represent a solution. The population is number of chromosomes available to test. The genotype, as we discussed, it's even bits 0, 1, and can be converted to phenotype. So the phenotype can be encoded to the genotype, and the genotype can be decoded in inverse representation to the phenotype. Here is a simple schematic diagram showing the population, that is a set of chromosomes, and one of this set is called the chromosome. One of set of the population is called the chromosome, and one cell is called the gene, and the value of the gene is called the allele. Now the fitness function, which is the main function, which is the optimization function that used in the genetic algorithms, and it quantify the optimality of the solution, and usually it assigns fitness scores to each individual. Other terms, this is the crossover. the crossover, which is the most important feature of the genetic algorithms, which each pair of parents is mated by choosing cross points. And we will explain it in details on next slides. The other term is the mutation, where some of the genes are subjected to mutation on the chromosomes. And last is the termination, that the algorithms is terminated if the population is converged and the optimization has converged. The basics of genetic algorithms. There is steps in these algorithms we have to follow. So the first steps, that we have to present the problem variables as a chromosomes with fixed length. The second step, that we have to find the fitness function to measure the performance and establishing the basis for selecting the chromosomes. Then we have to generate the initial population. Then step 4, we have to calculate the fitness function. Then we have to select pair of chromosomes for mating from the current population. Then we have to apply the crossover and mutation on the selected chromosomes. Then we have to place the new chromosomes on the new population and repeat the step 5 again by selecting the chromosomes from the population again until the new chromosomes population becomes equal to the initial population. In the step 9, we have to replace the initial population with the new offsprings, and in the last we have to recalculate the fitness function until the termination criteria is satisfied. As we can see here in the flow chart, we have to start in the population initialization, then we have to go to the fitness function calculation, we'll do the crossover, a mutation, then the survived selection of the offsprings to go back to the fitness until we meet the criteria of the optimization function and do the termination. We have to loop it until it's reached to the converge, until the algorithms converge. Now the feature for the genetic algorithms. The main feature of the genetic algorithm, it covers large space but is not fast in processing the data. And the main features that we are going to speak on it in details in this presentation is the representations, the mutations, crossover and selection. The representation, that the chromosome can be even to be bit strings, real numbers, permutations of element, list of rules, and as we discussed about the phenotype and the genotype, the phenotype can be encoded in the representation to the genotype, and the genotype can be decoded in inverse representation to the phenotype. And the crossover, there is 3 types of crossover now. The first one is the one-point crossover, that we have to choose one random value, as you can see here. So in case this 2 parents, x1 and x2, and there is one random point, we choose this point. So the children, let's say x3 and x4, will do the crossover in this point. So the 3 ones here will be down and the 3 zeros will be up, like this. So this 1 point crossover. Other type is the 2-point crossover. As you can see, this random, it will be here the first point and the second point, and will be changed. Let's say the parents, this one x1 and x2, and children x3 and x4. In the first point, we replace up and down. This one is going down and the 0 0 go up, and in the other point, we're replacing x1 and x2. The x1 and x2, the 1 1 and 0 0 0 here. This ones will go up and this one will go down, as we here see. The other type is the uniform crossover, that there is a mask, randomly generated mask, and according to that it will be XOR with the parents. So let's say the parents, this x1 and x2, once we XOR it with the this mask, so for example the first child, 1 XOR 1 it will be 0, 1 XOR 1 it will be 0, and so on until you generate the x3 and x4 for the children. The other feature, as we discussed, the mutation, which alter each gene independently. So for example, this the parent having all ones, we can just in one of the genes just flip it from 1 to 0. It can be other 1 to 0, 1 to 0, and so on. If real, we can change this value to this value, and we choose the mutation with the best fit. Now for the selection part, where the parents with better fitness value of the function have better chances to produce offsprings. So after we generate the fitness function, so let's say the value of the fitness function for these parents, let's say x1, x2, x3, x4, okay, having this fitness function value 30, 27, 32, and 11, okay. So this one, the initial population, it will be randomly selected, and there is multi stage for the selection. We'll discuss about it. After doing the initial population, we do the selection based on the fitness function. So the one with highest fitness function will be high probability to be chosen in the selection. So the first one is chosen, the first one, and we can see here this one with the fitness function 27 is choosing 2 times, and the third one, the probability for it is be choosing here. Then after that, there is 1 point crossover, 1 point crossover here, we do the crossover, then the mutation will change one gene, will change the value of it, and it will be the process. Now the selection, there is types of selection. One of the selection types is the tournament selection. It chooses randomly from the population, and the best one of them with the higher in the fitness function will win. And the winner for each tournament will be selected to the next generation, as explained here. So let's say the fitness value from 1 and so on until here, this is the fitness value, and this is the chromosomes, value of the chromosomes. What we're doing here, it will be randomly selected. So randomly is coming, for example, this A, E, and T, but the fitness function for each one of them is 5, 2, and 2. After that, we'll pick the best one of the highest in the fitness value. So it will be choosing A. The next type of the selection is the roulette wheel. Here is it will be based on the fitness function value that assign each individual part of the wheel, and then it will be randomly spin the wheel n times to select individuals, but it will be based on the probability for each chromosome based on the fitness value. As we can see here, for example, the fitness value of A is 3, so it's taking around 50%, B is 17, and C is 33. The third type of the selection is the ranking. Now there is a process for the ranking procedure once we do the selection. First, let's say this chromosomes from 1 to 6 and having this fitness value. First you have to do the sorting, so the chromosome from 1, sort this chromosome based on the fitness value. Then we assign the ranking based on the sorting that we did it. Then we evaluate this one and do the random selection in the roulette wheel based on the fitness value, and the value it will be here.